Hello, everybody out there, and welcome to another episode of the Talk That Talk Show with me, Barry Holmes. And we are here for episode 247 here of the Talk That Talk Show. And I just get excited coming here each day and sharing you guys about what's going on in my life, whether it be sports-wise, whether it be personality-wise, professionally. Honestly, and it's so crazy because you can look back at the podcast and it's really in a way like my running diary. You know what I'm saying? It's a running representation of what I'm going through throughout the week and some of the things that are on my mind. And for me, I truly take this and take advantage of this, and really it's helped me to be free and keep my mind free and share the things that are going on in my mind. And I feel like when you're able to get those things off your chest and you're able to show who you are, not only does it keep people tuned in, but it also gets those loyal listeners. Like we got my boy Marty, big shout out to him. We got Marissa, who's moving up the charts in our bracket challenge. We got my boy Jeff, big shout out to him on our Facebook live stream. But it's important to me to be who I say I am. And I think that it's very simple to say that, and it could mean something so simple as just be who you are, right? But for me, who I am represents a bigger picture and represents like this grand umbrella theme of just being a hard worker. I think if anybody asks, who is Barry Holmes and, what does he do? Anybody's going to tell you just how hard of a worker I am. Big shout out to Angelo's mom. I saw her, she was working hard over at Edison Diner, and she asked me, she said, hey, I haven't seen you in a while, you haven't come by the house, what have you been up to? You got to come here and say hi to mama. That's what she calls me because she says I'm a part of the family. And I straight up told her, I was like, honestly, like I've been working so much, between coaching, working at the high school, working at the dispensary. I've been working these tireless hours to just save. And I think that when you're doing something that you enjoy, and when you have a purpose, it doesn't seem like you're doing that much, right? It doesn't seem like you're going out of your way and striving for these things, you know what I'm saying? And for me, who I am is constantly being that hardworking person, because when someone sees how hard Barry works, then it's like a motivation for them to go out and grind and get it. And I love talking about my flag football team because in a way, when you've done a great job coaching or you're on the right path, when your team starts to embody, who you are, and they start to take on your image. And, from the first couple of, days of practicing with these girls, I didn't know what to expect. I told this one girl, Jasmine, who's on our team, I thought she was going to quit. I didn't think she was mentally tough enough to play the sport. And, throughout these, couple weeks that we've been practicing now, each and every day, these girls continue to impress me, prove me wrong, and show me that they are just as locked in as I am when I'm watching flag football clips on the fucking toilet, right? It's a certain level of dedication, through coaching that, again, I've truly missed. And I can really, standing now, I really enjoy it, coming to the field. The girls were really nervous at first about practicing in the rain and if we would be practicing in the rain. And throughout this, these last couple of days where we've, been rained on like crazy at the in New Jersey, these girls got to go through their toughest fears, right? They got to go through playing in the rain, slipping on turf, having the ball go through their hands. And I told them, if we can practice through this rain and we can get through this, there's no telling what we can do when we get optimal weather, right? So the best feeling today coaching was we were in the locker room and we were going over some of the schemes and stuff. And Coach Wright had just came in and she was talking about how she just talked to the AD, and they were talking about whether the game was going to get canceled or not. I don't know if she was being for real or not, or maybe she was trying to hype them up, gauge where they were at. But, we asked them, and they were like, if we had the option of not playing this game, would you guys want to stop from, not having the rain out there? And a couple of the girls at first were like, I don't know, maybe we should just wait. If it's raining, let's not play or whatever. And then the very girl I was talking about, Jasmine, who I thought would quit at the beginning of the year, she straight up stands up. She goes, Coach Barry just gave us this speech about how we need to believe that we can go out and beat Summit. Of course we're playing. We're playing in the rain. I want to play. And literally she incited all the girls in the locker room to be like, I want to play. Let's play. And honestly, I didn't want to tear up, but it was like, that was the moment that you want to coach for. Here I had this girl Jasmine who could not make a catch. Her attitude when she was on the cheerleading team, she had gotten kicked off, right? Now you have a situation where you can restart. You have a new team, right? And she's assuming this role of, hey, I want this team to get better. I need to do what I need to do. I want to make sure we're all on the same page. And I've seen this girl, Jasmine, helping people out on plays, being the positive person. And I've literally watched this girl's attitude change from being shit to being excellent to now she is the captain of our football team, right? So what I'm saying to you is this, guys. For me, coaching and being able to uplift someone from this bottom point to now, like Ish says, where she's potentially a dog, that's what gets me excited. And, tomorrow we have our first game against Summit. And, I am a little nervous. And I asked the girls how they're feeling, and they're a little nervous too. But the one thing that I tried to stress to them is that it's okay to be nervous. That just means that you care. The main thing is just focusing on the things that we've practiced, right? And believing within one another. And nothing else can happen bad to you if you put 110% out there. And, I was able to deliver that message to them. And when I left out of the locker room and when I left the field this morning after we had practice, I had full belief tomorrow that this team will continue to exceed my expectations. And, again, I'm just super excited. We got this game at 4 o'clock against Summit. I know I got my dad and a couple of friends and family that are going to be showing up. And I'm really excited. I think that could this be the humbling experience that my team needs? It could be. But then it also could be just as good as we might think it may be. I told these girls at first, I asked them, what do you think is going to win? What do you think how we're going to do, right? And, at first they were like, I don't know. I think we're going to be okay. We might score 10 points or whatever. I told them this, and this was the last thing that I said to them before they all started going screaming and going nuts. But I said to them, if you don't believe that we can go out there and smoke Summit, don't put your jersey on. Don't show up. If you don't believe that we can go out there and get the job done, don't show up. And literally, after we said that to those girls, I felt like they were ready to go through a brick wall. I think that production goes so far into your mental, man. How you go about the game and how you go about believing. This is what stops so many people, the mind. And I think when you can be in control of your mind and you can get yourself to a place of supreme competition, that's what sets people apart. The people that are most successful are the ones that are the most mentally tough. And what I've seen from these girls from starting out, to now before game day, I've seen these girls get mentally tougher. And it's no question that in coaching these girls that I've coached in girls flag football has not increased my own confidence, has not increased my own self-worth, my own feeling of needing to be a representation for these girls, that you can be whatever you want. That's what I go out every single day when I go coach these girls, and to have a situation where Jasmine steps up and rallies the troops and does my job, that's what this coaching shit is all about, man. And that's what continues to get me excited to come there every day. And that's why I truly believe that those girls that are on my team are going to go smoke Summit tomorrow. And I appreciate anybody that comes out to come watch us. I haven't coached in a very long time. And, I'm just excited. Even when they gave us the warm-up, that coach's jacket, it just made me feel a little bit different. So, I'm really excited. I am nervous, but it just means we care. And I believe we can go get the job done. And I think a big thing that led to that, and a reason why, I feel so great as far as, being inspirational and being motivational, is that I am drinking the Kool-Aid, right? I'm starting to believe the things that I say, right? And when it comes down to it, we had a situation in UBA. Love my team DIY. I love bowling with them. And part of the reason why we bowl in the toughest division that we do is to take on these big challenges, to go out and go face the big dogs, right? And we literally had one of the toughest challenges that I've ever faced this season. We had to go into Jersey Lanes and go bowl against Exit Wounds, a team that has not lost there in more than 5 years. We had to go in there and try and do the impossible. And I said something similar in the huddle to the other people on my team on DIY. I said, if you don't believe that we can go out here and get this job done, don't put your fucking jersey on. Don't show up. If you believe that we can go out here and get this job done, then let's go out there and let's fight to the death. And, I was proud of our DIY team because, that's what we did. Going into it, I felt almost like MJ, because I feel like, in the documentary, they said MJ did different things to try and motivate himself, right? He would tell himself things to try and get himself up and get himself ready to go play. And I remember saying to myself, and I don't think anybody even said this shit, but I said to myself, I was like, yo, they're only giving us a 2% chance of winning today. We only got 2% chance of beating Exit Wounds. What are we going to do? And we were absolutely huge underdogs. And needless to say, to fast forward, they smoked us. They absolutely destroyed us. And we lost 38-2. But I say that score because that 2 points meant a lot more, and it goes towards the overall theme that I'm trying to get these girls to understand. It's okay to struggle, but it's not okay to give up. I watched someone in Strike Tyson to the left of me who absolutely struggled. He didn't have his best set on scratch, but I watched what him do was I watched him continue to fight, continue to grind. It wasn't his best outing, but he continued to keep trying, continued to switch balls, continued to switch his feet, continued to keep working. And that's why, even though he didn't have his best set, I will go to battle with Strike Tyson any day. And when it came down to our middle pair, with me, Mike Kelly, and Brandon, a.k.a. Gravedigger, we had a tough task. We had the president of their team we were bowling against. We had a legend in Timmy Mack, who'd been bowling there probably since birth. And, we just had tough guys. We had tough Jersey Lane guys that were legends that we had to bowl against. And I saw everyone on my pair and everyone on our team just not back down. And there came a situation where I looked back behind us, and it seemed like the whole bowling alley was watching our pair, right? And there was a situation that I'm very, very proud of, right? And when you're in enemy territory sometimes, you get people that do some funny shit. Now, whether it was on purpose and intentional, I don't know. But the girl, I'm not going to say her name, she threw a good shot, completely flushed the pocket. And I'm on the line, getting ready to throw my shot. And she just, walks it out right in front of me. And, looking back on it, Dad said I probably should have stepped back. And if anybody does anything like that to you guys, take a step back, regroup, and try and go out there and put a great shot together. But I didn't take a step back. I just decided, I said, fuck it, I'm going to go throw this shit. Wasn't regrouped, and I threw a split. And what you don't realize in UBA, and especially in the division that we're in, if you do not strike, you lose. You don't strike, you lose. And, it was a situation where, this girl walked it out on me, got me out of my character. I threw a split, and I could have easily said, shit, let me just get one and get out the way. But something in my mind went back to that time where I said, I'm going to make this shit. And I went out and I said to myself, I'm going to go shoot this shit. Fuck this. She thinks that she can go out here and do this to me. I'm going to show her something. And I went out there and I made that spare and then struck out for the rest of the game. Guys, what I'm trying to tell you is this. If I did not go out and try my hardest, and if I just said, this shit is hard, they got this already, then what? What would have happened? What could have happened? But because I went out there, I didn't give a shit who we were bowling. I didn't care what the score was. I didn't give a shit. All I wanted to do was go out there and throw my best shot and not give up. And what I did was I struck out and we won one fucking game. Only one. And it easily could have been 40-0. But because I didn't give up, because I believed in myself, and because I believed in the work that I put in every single day after practice, we were able to get 2 points. In the grand scheme of things, is 2 points a lot out of 40? Absolutely not. But that 2 points represents the birth of Barry Buckets in the next level, all right? I proved to those people, to me, it felt like going into Jersey Lanes was like going into Madison Square Garden. You had to go into a historic place that everybody that is anybody bowls at, and not a place that I frequent. And I had to go in there and prove that I'm not afraid to go and get the job done. And like my boy Smedic says, overcome that adversity, brother. And that was the sweetest 2 points that I ever got. And in the toughest position that we were in, I had people come up to me from that UBA match, and they were saying, yo, we should have took 40. We should have swept y'all. But you were the reason why we got 38 points. We only got 2. And big shout out to Travis. He goes, that's the best attitude to have. Not care what anyone thinks about you and do the best of your abilities no matter what. I've kind of embraced almost this villain role. When I go in there, I want to be the guy that you hope misses. I think at the beginning, stages of the game, I was kind of where Tori was at. Everybody was loving that I was doing great. I was bowling, pretty good, over average. Everybody's like, oh, I'm so happy for you. You're doing great. But once you start consistently doing that, and you start consistently beating people and knocking off those names, then you start getting that credibility. You start getting that respect. And what I've done now is I've transitioned to someone that you're happy to see do well, to now someone you hope misses. Hope that, that doesn't do what he needs to do, because maybe you're bowling against me, right? So I've elevated my game. I've done what I've needed to do, put in the practice, put in the time, worked on my confidence, worked on my craft, invested in my equipment, invested in practicing, and that's why you see the results where you're at. I had literally said to my sister after bowling, you need to practice. You can't cheat the game. And what I've seen from my sister now is with her practicing, she invested in a new piece of equipment and now she's killing it. She's winning cash every time it seems like she's bowling. So the overall theme is that you can't cheat the game. And when you get in positions to challenge yourself, there's no telling what you could do. And then Travis says, told you before, every story needs a good villain. Why not it be us? That's a fact, yo. And I'll say this, in the one side of things where you have a situation where we are resilient, where we don't give up, where we did grind it out. I had a situation on Monday where, I had taken my girlfriend out to Atlantic City for a nice dinner. And, I took a week off. I needed a week off to mentally recharge. I needed a week off to rest the arm. And, me and my girlfriend had a great time in Atlantic City. And then I was wondering, I'm like, so what happened on the home front? How did our team do? And come to find out, one of the teammates that I bowled with on Monday night decided that game 1 and game 2, he bowled like crap, and he packed his shit up and he left. And for me, it was so disheartening because this said person is someone that I look up to in the bowling game. I've been waiting to bowl multiple years with him finally. And I finally had the position where I could bowl with him. And, as someone who prides myself so much, and I literally told you guys so many stories about how I've been able to empower people to believe in themselves and to not give up. It was extremely disheartening to see someone I put the same jersey on with fucking quit on me. Quit on themselves. And I'll say this. We all have things that we're going through. And we all have things that maybe have us, out of character. And I'll say this. For me, I really started seeing score increase for me when my mind was free. I've talked about this before, but once my mind was free and once I was able to dedicate my mind and my body to the craft and to my own personal health, my own personal mental health, I saw that, my scores increased. When you use the game as an escape, it can be very dangerous because once you don't get the results that you want, if you're using the game as an escape, it's a dangerous game that you're playing, and I think that if you use the game as enjoyment and if you truly enjoy the grind and the process, I've literally said it to people multiple times, like when we've been struggling, even to our Wednesday night team, when we've been getting splits, or when we were in damn near second to last place, leading into the halfway mark of the season, we looked within each other and we said, what are we gonna do? Who are we? Are we gonna thug this out? What are we gonna do? Do we believe that we can still do this? And what we've seen is in that Wednesday team, we had to grind and fight it out. And now we're a week and 2 points ahead in first place going into this week to try and close out the season. So all my life, I've went around with a chip on my shoulder. I was a walk-on in college. I had to literally go and fight for a spot and take a scholarship spot away because I was a walk-on. I played basketball at Edison High School, a place known for baseball, and we took them to the state tournament. In bowling, I'm not a bowler. I have no type of structure whatsoever, self-taught. And here we've been able to become one of the better bowlers in the area. I'm telling you, when you carry that chip on your shoulder, there's no telling what you're able to do. And what I'm saying to you is this. It was extremely disheartening to see someone that I call a brother, a friend, quit on me and quit on the team. So all I want, if you are listening out here and if you're listening to this show, I still love you, brother. I still believe in you. And I still want you back. I need you back. Don't quit on us, bro. I'm out here grinding every single week to try and get better. I'm trying to make sure that when you see me and when you gave me the opportunity to be anchor, that I took advantage of that. And I put my best set of the season damn near out there. So for you to quit on us, that shit hurt me, dog. But I know you'll make it right. I know you can make it right. And I know who you are. And I know that you won't quit on us again. So please, take this time, think about it, and come back hard. Come back hard. Harder than you've ever been. Because I know when you come back, brother, our team's going to be fucking dangerous, man. So everybody else out there, if you've heard anything from this show, believe in yourself. We've literally said to the people out there, to our team, it's okay to struggle. It's not okay to give up. It ain't okay to give up. When you put that talk show on your chest, anybody out there, when you put that jersey on, when you ask me for a hoodie, when you ask me for a t-shirt, are you giving 110% every time? Are you giving up? When things get tough, what are you made of? What do you do? And that will tell me if you deserve a Talk That Talk Show shirt or if you deserve a Talk That Talk Show hoodie. But, after that, man, I just know that I'm ready, and I feel like with all the things that have happened, with all the adversity throughout the season, starting with a hand injury, dealing with the pain still from my lingering car accident, getting hit by a drunk driver, through all of this stuff, I've still been able to come out on top. To get smoked out by Brandon Burwell at UBA, but still have him come up to me and say, yo, I'm proud of you, bro. You was doing your thing. To get that respect, to earn that, that's what all that shit amounts to. That's what all the culmination and what we build towards and what that validation of the work that you put in. And that culmination and everything all together, of putting it all together, is the main reason why I know that the people that I stand with will always have my back and will always believe in themselves, right? Yo, big shout out to Sharif. He said, yo, you did your thing. Hey, we only got 2 points, but to get that respect from Sharif, a.k.a. Hollywood, that means the world to me, yo. And to his point, to keep working, that only tells me that I need to keep working and that I can compete. And, to get words like that from Hollywood, someone who, is a big-time baller up there at Jersey Lanes, that means everything to me. So thank you, Hollywood, because little do you know, I look up to you in the bowling game too, bro. And here we go. I'd love to talk about bowling all day, but, I do want to get into a couple sports topics before we get off the air. March Madness, first and foremost, this Final Four is going to be fantastic. We got Purdue versus NC State. Zach Edey going up against DJ Burns, somebody who's been elite throughout this tournament. If you are a bettor and you want to hear my picks, I'm going to give you guys the picks for all these games. First things first, I think NC State has had a great run. I think they've went 9 or 10 games in a row since the end of the regular season ACC tournament. They're balling. It's without question that NC State is the hottest team in college basketball. However, I think the fact of them having to play all of those games will kind of lead to a little bit of that fatigue, because Purdue, even though they are really led by Zach Edey, they're not afraid to get up and down the floor. And I feel like NC State will not. The reason why they've had success is because they've doubled DJ Burns and he's been able to effectively hit those passes and do what they need to do. Purdue is not going to need to double team DJ Burns, and that, I think, is going to be the biggest factor. We will see if NC State can really score, not needing that double team from Zach Edey. So if you ask me, I'm going with potentially the National Player of the Year, and I'm taking Purdue. And if you want, take that point spread, because I think NC State has had a great run, but I think it ends here. And then finally, we got Alabama versus UConn. UConn is absolutely fantastic right now. They're the best team in the tournament right now. And if you ask me, I got UConn over Alabama. And then finally, before we get off the air, I definitely want to talk about the women's game. That Iowa versus LSU game was one of the best games that I've watched from any sport person, period. Whether it was a woman, a male, basketball, football, soccer, whatever. That Iowa game where Caitlin Clark was absolutely bonkers, that was one of the best games that I've ever seen. And to think that LSU and Iowa aren't even the best teams in the country right now, aka South Carolina, it's crazy. And the way that Caitlin Clark not only can score the rock, but she also dished over she had a double-double in points and assists. How do you drop a 40 bomb and then get over 10 assists? It just shows the handle that she has on the game, and I think she's a generational talent. We've seen something in the works of where she was offered millions of dollars to go play in the Big Three. I say take it. If I was her, take it. You know what I'm saying? She could still play WNBA, but I think Caitlin Clark represents the overall theme that women's sports are here, and they're here to stay. And they're exciting, too. I mean, shit. I was in Atlantic City, and the biggest game on the big screen in the sports book was that LSU-Iowa game. Over baseball, over NBA, that game was on the big screen. And that, to me, represents the fact that women's sports is progressing, it's here, and I'm proud to be a part of it. I, being a coach of girls flag football, can honestly say I'm doing my part to advance the women's game. And I'm happy, and I think that game with Caitlin Clark represents where we are going in that direction. And then finally, the NBA is closing down, is winding down, and to say that the Knicks are in a 4th seed, I would be lying if I told you I thought that was going to happen. But I think that what we need to do in these last 8 games, which aren't going to be easy, but they need to stay in that 4, 5, or 6 slot. And it's going to be difficult because if you ask me, I think if they stay in that 4th seed or even the 3 seed, to be able to have to play against Orlando at 4-5, I like that matchup. If they're at 3-6 and have to get the Pacers, I don't mind that matchup either. So I think it's important for them within these last 8 games to not fall out of the top 6 and stay out of the play-in tournament. Pacers are the 6th seed, and they're only 2 games out, and the Magic are only a half game out in the 5th seed. So these final 8 games are going to be very important to see where the Knicks land up and if they will do well in the playoffs. And 7 out of those 8 games are going to be against playoff caliber teams or play-in teams. So it's going to be difficult. The Knicks have shown all year long that even without Julius Randle or OG Anunoby after the trade, that they can play well. And it's really elevated those role players, people like Deuce McBride, people like Precious Achiuwa. These role players, even Dante DiVincenzo stepping up his scoring consistently. We have seen players elevate their game with the absence of those star players in Julius Randle and OG Anunoby. And I will say this, I'm not going to count the Knicks out. Every time it seems like they were cooked and they were done, they've continued to prove us wrong. And I'm here for the ride, man. I'm saving up my money now because I know I want to go to a playoff game within the next couple weeks, man. And thank you guys so much for rocking out with me here at the Talk That Talk Show. Episode 247 is in the books. Pop says Josh Hart reminds me of the 90s Knicks. And it's funny because, on our bowling team, I asked Dad, who am I on the Knicks? And he was like, you know what? I think you're Josh Hart, man, because you're the heart and soul of our teams. And, I take that. I love that comparison because even someone like Dustin, big shout out to Dustin, we have this thing where we call ourselves entertainers. And we're like, are you not entertained? And truly, that's like us saying like, hey, we're out here grinding. We're putting in this work. Do you see what we're doing? Do you believe in what we're doing? And, I look forward to those times where I get to bowl with Dustin. I get those litmus tests against some of the best caliber people, and I just love progressing, man. I love progressing. I love empowering people. I love coaching. I love podcasting. I just feel like a lot of positive things are happening in my life right now. And I just thank you all for being a part of the journey with me. I'll end with this before I hop off the air. Me and Doc yesterday, we watched this documentary on Reggie White. And the one thing that I got from this documentary with Reggie White was the fact of Reggie pretty much using the game as a platform to profess his beliefs in a higher power or his religious beliefs. Now, what I'm saying to y'all is this. I love using my platform as a way to not only elevate people's thinking, but bring awareness to the things that are needed. And I am happy to say that my next venture, the next thing that I'm doing, is literally using my brand, Talk That Talk Show, to make hoodies so that I can donate half of the money to the girls' flag football program. These girls straight up told me, Coach, we don't have mouth guards. We don't have this. So for me to be able to go within myself, look at my brand and say, what can I do? That just shows the amount of work that has been put into this brand so that when the time comes, I can do what I need to do to give these girls what they need. So that wouldn't be possible if I didn't come out here each and every week and give an episode of the Talk That Talk Show. How can I build this brand, or how can I use my platform to basically fill a necessity if the brand means nothing? So me coming out here every single week to share with y'all an episode of this Talk That Talk Show, that is how we're able to use the brand to donate to the flag football program. If the brand meant nothing, then I wouldn't be able to raise this, right? So all I'm saying is this, man. Thank you guys for being a part of this ride, because I never know what I'm going to do with this brand. I never know what's going to happen. But, when I get something I believe in and I get an idea, I run with it. And I'm somebody I love building things, and I love seeing things come into fruition. And I'm here to say that, I'm here. I ain't going nowhere. And I'm going to continue getting better. I'm going to continue to work on myself. And if y'all continue to believe in me, there's no telling what this podcast will be a couple years from now. Selly says, nobody deserves a heart like yours, Buckets. I know Papa Bear is always proud. Thank you so much, Selly. And nobody's got more heart than you to go out there and win one of the toughest tournaments in the Rodman tournament, and to climb the ladder like you did, and to, go through the things that you have, man. To hear my dad respond and say, yes, I am, Selly. It's everything that you want as a competitor and as a son. So, thank you guys so much for the Talk That Talk Show. Thank you guys for supporting me. Thank you all for seeing the heart that I have and believing in the missions that I have. This is what it's all about, man. Just grind, bro. Don't give up. Don't give up. I love y'all, and I'll see y'all next week.